When I was 24 years old, I was living in South Korea teaching English. After my one-year contract ended, I set off to travel in Asia. An American friend of mine had told me about her time at an ashram in India studying yoga, which sounded like something I also wanted to experience. I had never done yoga before that point, but I wanted to give it a try. There were a few months before the program began, so I first took a slow boat from Incheon to Tianjin and spent about 3 months traveling around China. I then went to Thailand to await my Indian visa. Finally, by mid-April, I was on a train from Mumbai headed north to Yoga Vidya Gurukul in Nasik, near Hanuman Mountain. When I first walked into the office in Nasik, the first person I saw was Amy, an American girl I knew from Korea. We had never discussed our plans for post-Korea contract adventures, so seeing each other was a total surprise. The same ashram, the same program, the same time. It was meant to be. There were people, mostly women, from all around the world at the ashram. We spent the next 5 weeks waking up at 5 a.m., meditating, doing yoga, eating lunch in silence, and dancing and singing after puja every Saturday night. We studied yoga, Ayurveda, and Reiki. When the course finished, Amy and I decided to travel around the north of India together, along with Emily, an American artist from New York who had also been staying at the ashram. We walked the markets of Ahmedabad, the busy streets of Mumbai. We took rickshaws to dinner along the water in Udaipur. We meandered through the tiny alleyways of the blue streets of Jodhpur. We took henna lessons and cooking classes. But unfortunately, Emily had to leave a few weeks before us. After Emily left, Amy and I went further into Rajasthan to do a camel trek through the Thar Desert near Jaisalmer. We took an overnight train. The sand blew in through the windows, leaving everything covered with a soft layer of desert. We hung sarongs and sheets around our bed in our multi-bed compartments to both block the sand and the attention of men whose stares were relentless. I woke up early one morning on the train. I was covered in sand. It was hot. I was sweating. Amy was still asleep. The train was stopped. The train would stop anywhere from 5 to 25 minutes, and you could never be certain which it would be. People getting on, people getting off, selling food, buying food. I was really thirsty. It seemed the train may be there for a while. So I left Amy sleeping, and I got off the train to buy a couple water bottles from a snack shop on the platform. As the man was giving me back my change, he said to me,
"Madame, your train!"
I turned around and saw the train leaving the platform. I quickly grabbed the water bottles, grabbed my change, with no time to put the money back in my wallet. I ran through the crowds toward the train that was slowly gaining speed. I didn't know which car was mine, but I didn't care. I just needed to get on. A man with a long beard shouted to me from the window of the train, waving at me in what I assumed to mean,
"This is your car!"
I ran towards him. The train was now going faster. I jumped onto the first stair of the train car. But in that moment that I jumped, someone stepped on my flip-flop. It was all alone on the platform, fading quickly away. My only pair of shoes. Without thinking, I jumped back off the train, ran back, picked up my flip-flop, tucked it inside my armpit. Now, I had a shoe in one armpit, a water bottle in the other, a water bottle in one hand, my wallet in the other, with all my change pushed to the outside of it. I had no free hands, and there was no way I could possibly grab the handle on the outside of the door to pull myself inside. The train kept speeding up, and I ran faster. With no hands, I ran up the steps and threw my entire body inside the moving train, landing in the aisle with a thump, and a splash of sand went up everywhere. Everyone in the entire train car turned around to look at me, jaws open. Then I saw Amy. I had made it to the right car. Amy, too, stared at me in shock.
Where have you been?
From the train floor where I lay, covered in dirt and sand and sweat, with all my items intact, I looked at Amy, and I held out one of the water bottles towards her. "I got you some water."